Hey guys, here's E. In today's video, I'm going to make some caramel eclairs. So you know, it is one of the most famous French pastries. It consists of this eclair dough and a layer of crispy dough, as well as a really creamy and sweet caramel filling. So hopefully you enjoy today's video. So firstly, let's make our crispy dough. We will need 50 grams of butter, 60 grams of raw sugar, and 60 grams of flour. Here I'm using flour type 405. We're using a mixer to mix our room temperature butter first, then our raw sugar. Just beat it until it's creamy and pale. Then we can sift our flour through. Make sure there's no lumps. Then use our spatula to mix everything together. I find that it's easier in the end, just use hand. Knead the dough properly. Then we take 2 pieces of baking paper and press our dough in between. We can use a roller to roll it flat. We want to have a thick around 2 to 3 millimeter, so a really thin layer. Then we can put it in the fridge for later. Now let's make our eclair dough. We will need 150 milliliter of water, 100 milliliter of milk, 5 grams of sugar, and 5 grams of salt, 110 grams of butter, and 140 grams of flour. Say here I'm using 405. And we will also need between 250 grams to 300 grams of eggs. Here I'm beating 5 eggs. Now measure our ingredients. We need to cut our butter to cubes so it's easier to melt later. Adding our milk into a heavy-duty small pot, as well as our water, sugar and salt. Turn our stove to medium heat, adding our butter cubes and melt it. Stir it with our spatula until it starts boiling and there's no more butter, solid butter anymore. We can turn off our heat, adding our flour and mix everything together with our spatula until it's completely cooperated. There's no more flour lumps. We can turn our stove back on to medium heat and cook our dough until we get our correct consistency. We can turn off the heat and transfer our dough to a mixing bowl, adding our eggs one by one. Beat it until it's completely cooperated, and we can add one more egg until we get this fluid, creamy butter. We're going to use a pipette, which is 8 milliliter. Then we're using a pumper to pipe our eclair to our baking paper. Here we are going to pipe around 14 centimeter long of our eclair. So you can do it slowly, then get the correct shape and length. Now we can take our crispy dough out. Cut the dough to the same length and width like our eclair dough. Can release it from the baking paper slowly and gently, don't try not to break it, and lay it on top of our eclair dough. Once it's all done, we can set our oven to 180 degrees Celsius, and we're baking our eclair at the middle level for about 25 to 30 minutes. To make our caramel cream, we need to make some caramel first. We will need 200 grams of sugar, 100 grams of whipped cream. So firstly, adding our sugar into a heavy-duty pot, turn our heat to medium, and just let the heat to cook the sugar without stirring it. If you want, you can shake the pot a little bit. Then we want to get this dark brown syrup. Once our sugar is cooked, we can adding our warmed cream. You can warm this cream up first in the microwave. Then we adding a third of the cream at a time. Then keep stirring our caramel using our spatula and cook this on medium heat until it's creamy and sticky. Once we get the correct consistency, we can set it aside for later. To make our caramel cream, we will need 3 egg yolks, 30 grams of sugar, 40 grams of cornstarch, 450 milliliters of milk. Here I'm using half teaspoon of vanilla extract. You can also just use 1 vanilla bean. So firstly, crack our 3 eggs. Separate the egg yolk from the egg white. Then we can add in our sugar, our cornstarch, and beat it with a mixer. We want to get this creamy egg mixture, but not fluffy. So once it's done, we can take our pot, adding our milk, then our vanilla extract or vanilla aroma. Turn our stove onto medium heat, and we're going to cook our milk. So get our eggs mixture ready and cook our milk at the same time. Once start forming and our milk is cooked, we can add in 1/3 of our milk into the egg mixture and beat it with a mixer. And then add our egg mixture back into our milk. And turn our stove off and stir it. Then adding our caramel mixture and combine everything together. Then we can turn our heat back on to medium and cook our caramel cream until it's thickened and creamy. We're going to need a flat tray or any kind of container has a large surface. And we're going to sift through our caramel cream. Just make sure there's no lumps. Once it's done, we're going to use a plastic transparent foil to cover the surface of our caramel cream to prevent it from drying and forming a skin on top. The cream should be around 2 centimeters thick. I'm going to leave this in the fridge for about an hour. So here are our baked eclair. You can see they're really crispy on top. We're gonna need a pipette, which is 4 milliliter large, and use a pumper to pumping our caramel cream. So take our cream and stir it, mix everything together, and adding the cream into our pumper. Take our eclair, From the back side, we're gonna make 2 holes and pump enough amount of cream inside. You can actually feel it by the weight of our eclair. It's getting heavier and heavier when you pump enough cream inside. At the end, we're gonna need to make some caramel coins. We're going to need 200 grams of sugar and 1 drop of lemon juice and 1 pinch of salt. Adding our sugar, salt, and lemon juice into the pot and make a syrup by cooking it on medium heat. Turn our stove off and take a baking tray just to drop a tiny bit of syrup on the top and let them dry. Once it's cooled, we can assemble of our caramel coins on top of our eclairs. Then it's done. So here is my finished, baked and filled eclair. You could, as well as putting these caramel coins on top, but it's just decorative. So let's give this a try. Guten Appetit, or you say Bon Appetit. It's filled with the caramel cream. Super crunchy outside and very airy though, like all eclairs. And here's my caramel coin. It has a pinch of salt and a little bit lemon juice in it. So, it's actually less sweet than I thought. Okay. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Please give me a thumbs up and leave your comments below. If you want to see more videos like this one, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and share this video if you like. See ya! Did you subscribe yet? If not, click here, click here, click here. Every day watch new videos at 6 p.m. Here are my 2 recommended videos. Thanks for watching. See ya! 谢谢大家。